Hey everyone, welcome to the NCOA Childcare Chats. We're trying to get everyone on and make sure everyone is connected. Let me finish adding everyone to the stream.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. If you're on Facebook, I want to welcome you to the National Childcare Owners Association Childcare Chat. And today we will be discussing building back better staff. This is a trending topic right now when it comes down to the childcare industry because a lot of us are struggling with staff right now. So we wanted to have the conversation about what childcare owners can do to bring back better staff because we're super excited about the direction that childcare is heading, and we want to give you some ideas and just discuss the things that are going on in the childcare industry when it comes down to hiring and retaining staff. So we felt this was a good topic to bring to you guys today. And we have with us today some special guests that are in the childcare industry that has been in childcare a long time, and they're going to talk to you guys about some of the struggles they're having with staffing and some of the things that they do to retain staff. So I want to welcome everybody that's on the live, that's in the Facebook live, that are watching. I want to welcome you guys to our second Childcare Chats. And we have some of the amazing National Childcare Owners Association board members on the panel today. So we're going to take this time to just introduce some of those panelists on today, and then we'll get into the guests. Again, I am Daphne Booker Harris. I am the treasurer of the National Childcare Owners Association, and I want us to start off by introducing ourselves. And the next person is Miss Asia.
Hey guys, welcome to Childcare Chats. I'm Asia Rivers. I am the Vice President of the National Childcare Owners Association. I am so happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for everyone joining us today on Facebook Live. We're so excited to be talking about building back better with staffing. Thank you to our special guest that's on with us today. I will kick it over to our Executive Director, Scott Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. I want to take this opportunity to thank the panelists for attending this event. I want to send a special thank you, a sincere thank you to Mr. Warren Augustine for taking the time out of your day to sit with us and bestow these great jewels and seeds upon these individuals who are going to listen to your talk today. I want to thank each of our board members, as well as I want to thank child care operators, owners in general. It's a very, very difficult job that we do. It's a necessary job that we do. And I want to let you all know that the NCOA is here to fight the battle for you while you're in the classroom, bestowing knowledge upon these beautiful, precious jewels of ours, our children. Thank you. I will pass it to Mr. Nyrek Rogers, our Director of Marketing.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm having a little technical difficulties over here. I'm still working it out, but I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to meet you guys, Mr. Warren, Augustine, our other guest, Mrs. Gia, and all the panelists. I'm glad to be here in the room with you guys, and I'm ready to chat.
Yes, and the next person up is Miss Erica Rogers.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to our Childcare Chats. I am so excited. Thank you to our guests for joining us. I am sure we are going to get a wealth of knowledge today. I am so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us again. I am Erica Rogers. I am the secretary of the NCOA. So, welcome again, and I'm all ears.
Next up, Raymond Maxwell.
Hey, how everybody doing today? Sorry I'm a little late. Um, I just want to just welcome everybody to the Childcare Chats. It is a lot of good information that we'll be sharing today. Hopefully everybody takes something from it, from both the panelists and the guests. And also, please join the NCOA. We got a lot of benefits and a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. So thank you for coming today.
Next
Hello.
up, William Rivers.
Hey everyone, how you doing? My name is William Rivers. I am one of the co-directors of marketing. Yes, like everyone has said, I just want to welcome everybody here today. This is a great platform for some great discussions, um, and I just look forward for all the information that's going to be provided and the knowledge that's going to be gained from these child care chats. So, thank you again, everybody. Welcome.
Okay. That's everyone from the board, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I will give the opportunity first to our queen sister, Miss Gia Scott Harris, to give herself, give people that's watching a brief biography of yourself, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Hi, everybody. My name is Gia Scott Harris. I come out of
Hello.
Philadelphia. Ooh, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? We're good. Thank you, Warren. My name is Gia Scott Harris. I'm out of Philadelphia, PA. I am a sole child care owner. I have one center at this time. Wink, wink. I began my child care journey about a year ago. I purchased my center from an owner who had the center for about 15 years, didn't really put a lot of love into the center, and I've loved it up. And really, if I do say so myself, done a great job in doing so. I've learned a lot from this group of individuals that I'm speaking to, Miss Daphne, Coach Asia. Just the information that they've helped me with in the year has helped to catapult my business. I am about 90%, what is that? Enrollment, 90% enrollment. I'm really, really proud of that. And I definitely am on the profit side, which is awesome. Learning a lot of great tricks and tricks and tools from the group. So I look forward to expanding that knowledge and learning more through the NCOA. I'm very excited to be a part, and I look forward to the discussion we'll have this afternoon.
Thank you, Gia, and for joining our Childcare Chats. I want to now give Mr. Augustine the opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself. And again, welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me clearly? Fantastic. Well, my name is Warren Augustine. I am the founder and the executive director of Foundation Champions Academy of Early Learning and Education. And, we can all agree, we all wear different hats, from executive director to owner to the director. So, I'm talking to some veterans here and, I just love childcare. I've been doing this for 14 years. This is all I know. And really, I kind of make a joke is I didn't have a script, coming up in childcare. Like I had to learn through trials and errors. And I think that has made me very special and very unique because I had no other option. In my struggles, I had to come up with a solution, right? And that's the biggest thing. Like in our struggles, like example of hiring, we come up with the most crazy ideas, right? I'm sure many of us on this call today in tight spots where we know there was no hope, we came up with our ideas to keep our business afloat. So through the pandemic, this was birthed. This idea of really kind of getting into the business of childcare came into play. So I'm really excited to be here, to just be a vessel of knowledge so that we can all win at the end of the day, being better together, right?
Yes, Warren. When you talk about being better together and not having a strip, let's get to the topic for today. It's building back better. As you guys know, let the world say we're in a hiring crisis right now. That everybody is having problems with staff and retaining staff, right? So in the childcare industry, we're a part of that hiring crisis. So I want to just, be candid and can we just help some people today and give them hope for tomorrow and let them know that change is coming and that it's gonna get better because we as a group is binding together to build back better staff, right? So I want to just have that conversation today and let us just talk about what do you guys think the disconnect is between hiring that when it comes down to hiring and childcare right now because we're struggling with hiring staff. So we're going to start with you, Jill. With staffing and hiring right now, childcare and hiring. I'm sorry.
Okay. So one of the challenges that I definitely see in this industry, I went from working at a very large testing pharmaceutical company to owning my own childcare entity. And when I purchased the center, I had about 3 employees I was going to keep on. The rest I had to nix. So one of the things that I found is the challenge with hiring in our industry is the WIFMs. Adults are what's in it for me. They want to know by coming to work for you, what besides a paycheck, because it really, really is besides the hourly. What else, can I look forward to? What else are you offering me? So a lot of times, I don't think that package is being rolled out enough to the adults that we hire within the industry, letting them know, after 90 days, this is what you can expect. After 120, this is what you can expect. 6 months in, this is what you can expect. And those benefits have to have a little bit of girth to them, a little bit of bubble to them. So I've thought that myself because once you're dealing with employees, they want to know, if besides my paycheck, what else am I getting? What else am I gaining? And just putting those, I don't want to call them breadcrumbs, but just making sure that adults understand that there is more for them to gain inside childcare. It's not just an hourly. As we know, with childcare, the turnover rate is monstrous. But I feel like the staff that I have now, who's been with me almost a year, are in it for the perks, if you will. Everybody understands, their benefits kick in after a certain time. After those benefits, they get days off, paid vacation, things like that. I follow a lot of childcare entities online that I'm even learning from. You'd be surprised what, lunches, dress downs, things like that can get you with your staff, but also having them understand that there will be breaks. A lot of us look forward to, we just had a break yesterday for President's Day. I know some people are like, all right, Gia, President's Day off, but a paid day off and the ability to, come in the next day. We're doing 2/22/22, which is a very significant date today. So we have a lot of fun that's going on here at the office, the involvement, that they're needed, the importance of them within that position, being able to write up a parent teacher conference regarding their students, things of that nature. So I think a lot of times it's not presented to the adult worker that there are benefits to being here besides their paycheck. And I think if we roll that out a little bit more healthily, then that will help us with retaining staff, gaining and retaining staff.
Yes, that's a good observation. Warren, what are your thoughts on the disconnect between hiring and childcare right now?
I think the disconnect is that we are still kind of dealing with a pandemic of, I don't know how to say this, but I'll just say it direct. I really believe during the pandemic, because of all of the government funding and all of the unemployment benefits, I am still seeing that there's still some candidates or people that are coming to apply for positions that still have that mentality, oh, I could just get on by. But they're in for a very awakening because we can't get on by. But I really, the disconnect is really, how can I say it's like I am having to retrain people, like our new staff, like, okay, let's retrain you in regards to quality, let's train you back into actually doing the work. Like there's a passion there, but for some reason through the pandemic, there's been some individuals that have gotten very spoiled and very entitlement mindset. And it's really about changing that entitlement mindset, because I'm of the believer is that um, we can all people can change, right? So to answer your question directly, I do feel the disconnect is the entitlement of some workers, and also too for those employees that were with me during the pandemic, because we actually acquired our business August of 2020. So not in the beginning of the pandemic, but really kind of still in the pandemic. So just really being loyal to those employees that were there in the trenches per se, and really understood that it was all about teamwork. And wow, it's just by me thinking about that and, being good to the staff and having them have retention bonuses and giving them opportunities. So our center director that started with us, she left in October 2021. And for the past 6 months, I've kind of been in that role, but teaching someone else the responsibilities and delegating it to them until they feel that they're ready. And just by delegating those responsibilities to this individual, she has actually boosted morale, because when the leader believes in me, then I can empower and lead my other teams, right? So that comes with more professional development, right? So we offer professional development assistance. We offer CDA, reimbursement. We offer so many different perks that we can be competitive with KinderCare. Okay, I don't know if I can just drop names like that, but we can be competitive with KinderCare because I have lost 6 teachers to KinderCare. So I went and I started becoming very strategic. What can I do and offer, my employees that KinderCare can come onto my property and solicit my employees to go work for them, right? So I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, that's a good one. That is a good one. Coach Asia, what is your thoughts around this?
Gotcha. So I was just gonna speak to Warren's comment regarding entitlement. It is long, it is strong, and it is the center of the beast with I know the topic has been millennials and entitlement and what they think that they deserve. I'm a millennial myself, and people come through my door all the time. They're like, okay, we want better benefits. We want um we want paid days off. We need these type of things in order to survive. And Warren's comment, to that we're still experiencing a pandemic. We are. And so many people are facing different challenges in their personal life, and it's making it difficult to even be able to commute to work each and every day. Waking up is a challenge. Their mental health is a challenge. Their physical well-being is a challenge. There's just so many challenges, and it's like, okay, how can I, as a owner or director or leader, sit in the position to lead this organization and keep my head screwed on straight, but also lead the pack and lead the charge to where we are caring for young children and making sure that we carry on in a positive manner each and every day, that's going to bring some continuity of care. So I just think that we're trying to encompass a lot of challenges along with staffing, but there's much more to the pie than just staffing at the center. So there's just so many things that affects people coming to and from work every day, and it goes beyond just benefits. So we can talk and talk and talk about some of that disconnect, but at the very center of it all, teamwork makes the dream work at the end of the day. And we all have to be on the same page. No matter if you're at a large center, a small center, a certified in-home, it doesn't matter. We all have to be on the same page and have the same mission, goals, and values to continue on a positive stride. So I think that's going to be important, and where that this just making sure that we re-engage and bridge the gap between that disconnect.
Yes, Coach Asia. When you talk about staffing and the disconnect between staffing, my neck that goes into our next question. Do you guys think wages have a lot to do with the hiring crisis? Because when you pass by McDonald's now, they're starting off at $15, $16 an hour. They're starting off at $18 an hour at Amazon. So do you guys think that wages has a lot to do with the hiring crisis in childcare? We're going to start with you. We're going to do the opposite, Warren.
Yes, so I do feel that those bigger corporations that are able to start their employees at 15, 16, 17 and up, I think has been kind of a hindrance. But what I believe and what I have enforced in my programs is that we have boundaries. No teacher is going to make more than the director, right? So, my top pay for teachers is $16 an hour. Like, you are applying for the position and not the credentials, right? That's how I believe, and that's kind of been my boundary. And I've been very transparent in interviews. Like, so when we have our things out there in MD, then other places, it's like, you're applying for a toddler teacher. The starting pay for this position is $14 an hour with these experiences, right? And just tell them from the jump, this is how much we're going to pay, like $14 an hour. But in addition to that, you're coming into an atmosphere that we are going to coach you, we're going to train you, we're going to, we kind of tell them the things that we do. We give them an opportunity to talk to any of our current employees and kind of have them ask questions in regards to how is Mr. Warren, or how is Miss Cruz, or how is it being worked here. And with all of that, we have found that we've been able to weed out people when we've had very firm boundaries in regards to what we're going to pay. I've even had individuals that try to kind of negotiate, can you do 15? Can you do 16? Because I have this. No, we start at 14. But then there are some cases where, intuitively, I know that this person is a very good asset for the business, that I would say after 90 days, I will reevaluate this. And I honor that reevaluation, and let's see what we can do. But everything's contingent on if you can keep the numbers in the classroom, If you can keep a full 22 classrooms of toddlers and no one withdraws, then let's come back to the conversation and let's see what we can do. But it's all about how you're going to retain the children in that classroom, and how are you going to improve the brand? What are you going to bring to our center each day? So I kind of give them some type of incentive, so that when we circle around the conversation 90 days, then they don't have any excuses on when I said, well, right now we're just going to keep you at this salary until the next year when we do your performance evaluation. So yeah, that was a
Yes.
mouthful.
Jill, what do you think about the wages? Do you think the wages is affecting the hiring crisis in childcare?
Definitely. And I think that goes back to what Coach Aja mentioned regarding the feeling of, entitlement. A lot of them think that they should come in the door because, McDonald's is offering, $14, $15 without experience, because Amazon is offering, $18, into the door. I do the same thing as Warren, let them know, hey, small business here, and this is what we're budgeted for, at this time. I do spike it, when I have someone that has experience, that I know that I'll be able to do a no look, if you will, with them. But it's one of those things where you are competing as a small business owner, or as a business owner at a daycare. You have to look at your budget and look at maximum, what you'll be able to offer your employees. One of the things that I found very helpful in my business is offering maybe a slightly higher wage, but definitely not as many hours. Now, that may sound kind of shaky, but if I have somebody that's making, $15, $16 an hour, but they only want to work, or ask to work, 30, 25, 30 hours a week, I can manage that, because it comes out in the wash, if you will. If I have an aide with them, that kind of thing. But I find that because I'm up against corporations with strong dollars, strong bank accounts, I have to do a little finagling, if you will, with my bottom line, to make sure that I have coverage in the classroom, that I'm in ratio, that the children are gaining the benefits that they need. Those teachers that are paid the higher wage definitely have to have, for me, a lesson plan that is solid, that has the PA. I'm in Pennsylvania, so they have to have the PA state standards, so that if they do have to leave at a certain time, or their time is cut, then that learning still goes on, things of that nature. So it's one of those things. I may not have sorry, my phone. I may not have the corporate buckets or balances of money that they have, but I'm definitely learning the tricks of being able to juggle, if you will, raise where I can, definitely bonuses at the end of the year. Like I said, paid vacation, paid holidays for everyone, that's built in. But, when it comes to hiring, I'm finding that is really a trick bag, if you will. You have to definitely be able to boost up those that are going to really strengthen your program, and maybe, trim the fat, if you will, concerning um, uh, others that are not.
Yes, trim the fat. I like that, trim the fat analogy. Coach Erica, what are your thoughts on? Do you think wages is affecting the hiring crisis? It has something to do with the hiring crisis right now.
I definitely think that wages is a part of it as well. I agree with everyone else that mentioned wages. Amazon is a huge competitor. They are throwing up Amazons everywhere where we are. We actually have a new plant going up now that should be open within a couple months, and they are allowing employees to start the same day. So, it's just a competitive field. Like, you have to love what you do to say that you want to do it nowadays.
Thank you, Erica, for that insight, and of course our panelists as well. But in kind of shifting gears, we talk about, wages and how they affect, our ability to operate as business owners. But there are other contingent benefits that are out there that, as a business owner, I don't hear a lot of people talk about. But as a childcare owner, Warren and Ms. Gia, do you think that if you offer full insurance, for instance, life, medical, vision, dental packages, do you think that would would attract a different type or a better quality employee? This okay, sorry. Gia, you can answer question first, and then we can go to Warren. I'm sorry.
We're trying to, Mr. Harris, we're trying to be on our best behavior. I didn't want to jump in front of Warren. But that definitely is it definitely is a plus. It definitely is. I definitely have a package, worked out a package with my insurance broker to put together for after 90 days of service for them to be offered, insurance. And I have found that my employees that were here during the transition, they're more than happy. They took full advantage. But I have found that I've had some new employees that are just like, gee, I'll get insurance from elsewhere. Like that doesn't keep me, you believe it or not, that doesn't keep them as, I thought it was firm. Like that was one of the things I came in, I said, I'm gonna hit them with insurance and everybody's going to be on it, and that's not always the draw. I don't know where they're getting insurance from. I don't necessarily have a gauge on that. We're not required in the state of Pennsylvania to require our employees to have, insurance. We have to keep our workman's comp up, but it is definitely not the pool that I thought it would. For those that they're impressed with it, okay, that's cool that you can offer that. But it definitely certain ones, it isn't a turning point for them. They're more moved by the bonuses and that immediate, cash, or those immediate throwaways that they can get. So not as much with the insurance, but I still have it there, and it is part of our package.
That's interesting. Okay, Warren, what do you think?
Likewise, it's really not popular. I'm of the person that I like to educate. So I have an investment license, 2 investment licenses. So I really, one of the things that really pained me, as being in this industry is just seeing older women in their 50s and 60s not having a retirement plan and then leaving the organization and like, okay, what do I do? So I really try to educate a lot of people, but unfortunately with my crew, it's not popular because, I had one employee tell me, I take home $700. When you do the insurance, that's another $200, then taxes. Now I'm only going to take home $4. Like they start, like, I think in the employee's mind, they start saying like, okay, well, this is taking money out of my pocket, then it's taking out money out of my fun time. So no, I'm not going to sign up for that. So I did offer it. It is still offered, but it is optional. But right now I have no one that's utilizing that, just because they can either they're on their spouse's plan already, or they found another avenue to get discounted insurance. I think that here in Texas there's a lot of different insurance companies that you pay like $50 for the year, $100 for the year, and you get like discounted fees off of medical stuff. I think that's what people utilize, but I don't see that being kind of like, oh, like this is like a perk for me to work here, is because they're offering insurance. Same as Gia, I think it's really about like, how much money are you going to give? How much bonuses are you going to give to me? I had a cook that told me, is like, oh, Mr. Warren, I want to live now. I want my money now, because I was talking to her about retirement, and she's like, oh, no, Mr. Warren, I want my money now, not for later. I'm like, okay, at least I tried.
That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. That's an interesting take on it. That insurance is not something that they see as a benefit, but even when you bring in information about investments, they still aren't interested in any of the investments that you present to them, Warren. I'm sure you're talking to them about annuities and things, compounding interest. They still not interested.
They're still not interested. You're still not interested. And I'm just gonna put that nugget in there and drop it. And if someone catch it, they catch it. But it's mainly it is a cultural thing. And I will say that it is a cultural thing that people in our culture, in the African American culture, they do not want to entertain the idea of, of these retirement plans and health insurance and things like that. It's just that mentality, and that's why every day I go in and I educate, because it's really about rewiring that mindset, right? Yeah, not interested, not interested. I've had other employees of other demographics take the information, have questions, and then after answering their questions or having ADP answer their questions, they realize it's not for them, right? But at least they took the time to do the research, ask the questions, and see if it's a good fit for them. It's
Okay.
been my experience in the African American community. It's like, okay, well, he just told me that. No, let me move on with my life. And it's about changing that mindset.
That's interesting. I
Mhm.
mean, that is very interesting. Okay, so Ray, I see you driving, but I hope it's safe for you to chime in on this. With the NCOA trying to bring these benefit packages to our member owners, how do you think what they say? How does it play out in planning of the child care that you own, and as well as planning for members of the NCOA?
Yes, I'm listening to the conversation and I'm listening to what you're saying about the insurance, and it's it's quite a shame because you never know when something's going to happen. The insurance is something were to happen, you're covered. And that's why we worked hard and we put together a very comprehensive plan for members. So if you're a member of the NCOA, you automatically qualify for these very discounted benefits. And hopefully, uh, when new members come on board to the NCOA, they can offer these as another alternative option for the employees, because we got very affordable uh, dental, vision, what is it? Dental, vision, and I believe it's something else too. You gotta forgive me. I'm driving. My mind is all over the
So,
place. But I believe all those benefits is like $35 a month. So that's very affordable for your workers. You break down $35 a month. What's that, about like $17 bi-weekly? And that's very affordable than to take a big chunk of like $200. So so we offer this as an alternative because we understand that our workers, you know, even though we gave them more money, Uncle Sam is taking more as well.
Mhm.
So we understand the struggles of our workers. That's why we put together this comprehensive plan. And I think that people should, consider our membership and, take a look at our benefit packages, and hopefully it fits your workers' needs, because we took this into deep consideration because we understand the struggles of the owners and the struggles of the workers. So we made this very affordable.
okay.
Um, hopefully I said enough. I don't know if I answered it correctly.
No, you did. You answered the question. You're very thorough in your answers, right? That's one thing I want you to always remember. So yeah, um, another question that I have, and I really want to know this, because you know, when you walk into a thing, you have an idea of what it is to be in your mind. You're kind of looking for those elements to kind of step into those roles. As you have built this business and everything. So what I want to know is from Warren first, and then we'll go to Gia, is what is a recurring trait of a good/bad employee that you have noticed over the years?
So good and bad, or either one?
Either one. You can tackle either one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think one of the worst, or one of the things I've seen the most, is mainly policies. I've seen a lot of times with the policies. That's kind of been like a stickler for us, mainly like in regards to like the dress code, if that makes sense. So I would say with policies, and also I won't say compliance, but also it kind of depends. It really honestly depends. But the main one is about policies. But when I talk about compliance, I talk about compliance in the way that like documentation, like checklists and like the checklists and just the ratio charts and things like that. Things that when those directors come around, they ask, okay, why are we not doing the playground checklist? Those kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jill, you want to chime in on that? What is a recurring trait of a good or a bad employee that you've noticed over the years?
Recurring trait of a good would definitely my thorn in my side is, of course, attendance. Making sure that person comes to work. I think that it stands out to me first because they keep me within ratio. Make sure that the children see the same face every day. Parents see the same person. That kind of thing. So that is my recurring trait of a good employee. That makes people stand out to me. You understand the business, again, that has to do with onboarding and presentation and them understanding what we're here to do. Bad employee, I guess, would be the total end of that spike, would be someone who is not in attendance or who doesn't consider the importance of Rose Garden and understanding that the parents need to see that consistency, the children need that consistency. So but to be transparent, that really is short-lived with me because my fuse is really short with that because I need it so bad in order for the business to grow. So I see it, but it's very short-lived. And if they don't, shape up, with regards to attendance, they are usually, I usually have to terminate the employment. But those that polar opposites, like that, if it's either really, really good, it helps the business, or it's really bad, and it's one of those things that it's just I can't allow it at all.
It's interesting that you two mentioned the things that step up high on my chart for our center is attendance. I tell the staff all the time, if you're not present, how can you expect the present? If you're not present, how can you expect the present? So that's one thing that they have begin to realize. And then there's the rules, and I always say this: rules are in place for a reason. If you follow the rules, you're preventing something down the line. It's like a ripple effect. So I definitely 1000% agree with you on those two responses. Ms. Daphne, you got anything you want to comment on this or chime in somewhere else?
Yes, I want to go to the audience. We have questions from our audience. We have some of our childcare friends in the chat, and they're asking questions. They're like, they oohing and ahhing over the different things that you guys are saying. They're saying amen. Some of them just start shouting because they feel you right now, right? They understand the attendance, benefits, wages, all that. They understand it. But we have a question, and I want to go to that question. And the question for you guys, how can childcare owners make it affordable to offer competitive wages for hiring and retaining quality staff? Do I need to repeat that? How can childcare owners make it affordable to offer competitive wages for hiring and retaining quality staff? That came from somebody in our Facebook group. They're asking you guys that question. So we'll start off with you, Jill.
I think my solve for that, and this is just mine, guys, but my solve for that again is working within that hourly rate. Working within that hourly rate. My one of my tricks, I have used this for a while now, and it's been very successful for me. I offer full time is considered 30 to 35 hours weekly, and if anything comes up, or if they decide, okay, Miss Gia, I can only do 30 hours a week. This is what they're paid for those 30 hours a week, and this is how I maintain those benefits. Maybe what I was going to pay them was X. I will then take a couple of dollars off of that back end and make sure that the aid gets a little bit more so I can fill that whole and just keep that 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. close alive, and make sure that I'm within ratio during that time. So again, how can childcare owners make it affordable to offer competitive wages for hiring and retaining quality staff? I budget everything, and I just make sure that I'm watching my hours. Like it's a juggling game. I think as owners, everybody understands that we didn't get into this business and it wasn't going to be just coasting and the money was going to keep flying in, that kind of thing. So I'm just very aware of my bottom line at all time. Also, I do not miss when it comes to paychecks. There are no, oh God, Friday's coming up. Are we going to get paid? Or, oh my goodness, I hope the budget. It's none of that over here. I don't miss when it comes to payment, but I need you to work, at the same time. So we have that give and take relationship that we have with one another, but they're paid for the time that they're here. And if they can do extra or offer extra, they're paid for that time as well. So that's how I keep it affordable for me, just juggling those hours and juggling the quality of that. My higher paid employees have carte blanche. If they, want to work a little bit less that week, that's fine. That's how I do it.
That's a good one. Warren, you got anything you want to offer on that?
Sure. Yeah, no, definitely about the budget. And then also too, it's how you're framing it. So I had a little bit of advantage because I came on board and some of the employees were already there. So it's really having those conversations and say, look, right now we're in a pandemic. Right now we're not at full capacity. This was back in August of 2020, excuse me. And just like, I can guarantee you, every week you're going to work 20 hours, but you may not make your 40 hours. So it's going to be between 20 and 40, and just be very transparent with them. Also too, for us, I typically do 90% private pay and then 10% subsidy, right? So I would really encourage those facilities that if their predominant source is subsidies, understand that you cannot offer so many, I don't know for other states, but here in Texas, they don't pay the full private pay rate, right? So you have to work with what you have. And then also too, compensation does not always have to be money. It can also be words of appreciation. It could be gratitude. Even last Friday, I wrote handwritten cards to all of my staff with a gift card. But it doesn't have to be financial. You can do things that are not financial to really show, your staff that you appreciate them, that you care for them, and that you're thinking of them. So, example, here in Texas, we're about to get some grant money, right? So those people that were with me in the trenches and were very loyal, they're about to get some favor, okay? Because Mr. Warren did not forget about you when we only had, 100 and something kids, right? We may be we're now at capacity, but I didn't remember those times where we were trying to kind of stay afloat during COVID. So things like that.
We got any other questions in the gallery?
Yes, I want to. No, they haven't sent another question up, but I have a question for the panelists, and we have one other question after this. But if you could change anything on the state level, what would that one thing be? And I'm gonna start with you, Gia.
My mind immediately. Oh, did you have something to say, Mr. Todd?
No, I just wanted to put it into context. When you say
Okay.
changing the state level, we're talking about like administrative, how the state functions with childcare is concerned.
Yes, mine immediately went to ratio. Immediately, I think that needs to be re-examined, guys. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it should be. I don't want children climbing all over one person or anything like that, but I think it's just a little bit antiquated. If I had any kind of input or something, I could press a button, I would definitely work within the realms of ratio. Just in I understand it doubles, during nap. I don't know, if it's the same way in Texas, Mr. Warren, but it doubles during nap, that kind of thing. I just think sometimes the ratio could be a little bit stringent, And because we're going through the times that we're going through, that I would like to work around that just a little bit. Not crazy. I don't need one person, 21-year-olds or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far, but just a little bit of pool with regards to ratio. I'd put a dog in that fight to help me out.
Mr. Warren?
So for myself is definitely the licensing in regards to our background checks and our fingerprinting. Typically right now here in the state of Texas, it's about 2 to 3 weeks. And the excuse is, oh, well, it's COVID. We don't have, because a person has to physically look at the history and press a button, right? So they don't have enough people to do that. So, historically, you hire people, but you have to wait till they get a full clearance letter to have them in the building with the children. So I would really like, if I could change anything, I would really like to change the process in regards to how Texas providers get their background check results. Typically, if you're already in the system, it's pretty quick, but these days it's not. It's about 2-3 days. And going back to ratio, like we have to maintain ratio. So if I have someone that has all their credentials, all of their stuff, they're just coming from another center, coming to my center, I shouldn't have to wait 5 days to wait for a clearance letter to have them in the classroom. This person could have saved me a headache, a screaming parent, a child that got injured, because it could have been prevented if I was able to have that teacher in the classroom and not having my other staff stressed out because they have to take on the burden because the state is not sending the results that we need in a timely fashion.
That's a great point. Being able to staff a classroom in a timely fashion. Ms. Rivers, Madam Vice President Rivers, what do you think about that particular question?
I am on the side of Warren. There are just different challenges that present itself as being an employer, is really trying to get all of the necessary documentation and paperwork and gathered for a person to actually be able to start. And it's overwhelming. It really is. It's very, very overwhelming. I had some challenges today regarding one of someone that I was going to rehire. And it was just so hard, just going through all of these different systems on the back end with the state. It's just a continuous tug and pull that it's a headache. And it would just really makes you want to just say, forget it sometimes. But again, it's going to be, your organization is completely dependent upon you making sure all of these systems and paperwork is in check. So if you don't have everything all together, then of course, it's going to be detrimental to your operations.
Okay. All right, very valid points. We're almost at we're at the end of the program, so I want to ask this final question, and then we'll close out this successful, what I say is a successful childcare chat. And that question is, what will be your number one advice to someone who is about to open a childcare center and need to hire staff? What would be the advice you would give that individual? Warren, DNG, I'm sorry.
Gotcha. My number one advice is just kind of start pre-marketing. If you're about to open up a facility, start pre-marketing and ideally come up with a game plan, brainstorm. Okay, so I know my capacity is 300. I know I would need about 35 teachers at a full capacity, but let's half that number. So I want to have one teacher for my infants. I want to have one teacher for my toddlers, preschool, and then school age. So at least I want to have 4 teachers, and really start the interview process even while you're doing your licensing process, like your licensing application, because once licensing, I can only speak for Texas, but once licensing gives you that green light, then you can start having children in your facility. So I would really encourage, just get the footwork going and start your interviews, and just let them know that, the start date is not going to be this. The start date is flexible. It's going to be up and down. Start your marketing. You want to have kids in the door the first day, do your pre-marketing. I don't know if I'm answering the questions, but
You did answer the question. You're very, very concise with the answer. That's
yeah,
right.
you just want to do pre-marketing, and you just want to, kind of let people know that you're in the community. Come, let's do an interview. Let's see if this is a good match, and just kind of get your name out there for sure.
Right, right. Gia, what do you think?
One of my biggest, if I had somebody that's like green and they're just starting theirs, I would definitely speak with them. I loved Warren's point regarding the interviewing, but also just systems, like having those systems in order, how you're going to onboard people, what that looks like, because you don't want it to come, you don't want them to come on and it's just hairy and helter skelter, and it's just like, okay, she doesn't know what she's doing, so how are you going to guide me? So just making sure that your systems and your onboarding system is in place, and then also hiring for backups, floaters, people with those schedules. I just I think I told everybody in the group a couple weeks ago that I started pouring into the senior community around me, just trying different things. You have those persons that they're on, Social Security, they can only work, this block of time or these hours per week, going into that audience. It's not always going to look like a woman who just graduated, who's 22 years old and just graduated with her bachelor's in early childhood education. You may be speaking with somebody who has lived a full life, and now they're falling back on their education. They have this amount of hours that they could spend, at your facility. So really take those different, ways to, market your program, but then also making sure that you have systems so that you can call Miss Jean, Miss Gloria. Look into these audiences because they're there and their backgrounds are just fine. They'll get through just fine. So make sure that that's in place. But onboard. Make them have them buy into your program.
I mean, that was a fabulous answer. Fabulous answer. Erica, what do you think about this before we close out?
Love the answer that Gia gave about the having systems in place. I am a systems type girl. I have systems for everything. It's a system to clean up. It's a system to let a child in. It's a system to how you bring your personal items in. So I love the answer of having systems and just having your onboarding in place and your marketing. People have to know who you are and where you are located. So I love that most of all. I love to have literature. I think literature is necessary to pass out. And I think your presence, like how you are presented in your community, how do people know you're there? Do you have something where you're passing something out where people look at it and say, hey, I think they do that over there. They're, call them. So I love to do things like that. I love to pass out different marketing material, just little small things. And our vehicles, our buses, they say who we are and where we are. Sometime I'll have someone follow our bus driver a couple miles to find out where we're located at. So just how you market and what your systems are. I love that analogy.
I mean, personally, this has been a great childcare chat. I hope that the members of the audience, those who are watching on the various social media platforms, have learned a lot about this topic of building it back big with our staff. I want to take the time to give again a closing thank you to our panelists, guest panelists, Mr. Warren Augustin and Ms. Gia Scott Harris. Thank you for taking the time out of your day and coming and sharing these jewels with the NCOA as well as the childcare community in general. I want to thank our Vice President, Ms. Asia Rivers, for birthing out these childcare chats. I want to, of course, thank our president, Mr. Raymond Maxwell, for having the listening to the creator and putting forth effort to organize the NCOA. So, and before we sign off, I want to read the mission of the NCOA to the public so that you'll know what the mission and vision of the National Childcare Owners Association is. The mission of the National Childcare Owners Association is to provide its members with access to essential industry information, access to best practices information, implementation procedures, access to managerial and technical and support in order to increase its members' knowledge, reputation, and profitability. The vision of the NCOA is to provide its members with access to business formation information, professional development resources, business operations, access to business management, education, and tools, loss mitigation information, and loss mitigation professionals. The NCOA provides its members with access to industry experts and business owners whose experience and guidance would aid its members in development of professional standards and best practices in their business. The development and implementation of these professional standards and best practices will positively impact the business owner, staff, children, community, and the industry. Thank you for tuning in to the second of our Childcare Chats. We look forward to our next broadcast next month. The date will be released approximately 1 week prior to the actual event. We may even do it a couple of weeks before the actual event, but we look forward to seeing you on next month. Thank you again to our esteemed panelists and our esteemed and august body. Thank you.